And what if I told you that your silence speaks louder than your love ever did? It sounds backwards, right? You give, you show up, you care, and he pulls away. So you go quiet, you stop reaching out, and suddenly, like clockwork, he's back. But why? Why does distance trigger desire? Why does absence suddenly make him realize your value in a way your presence never seemed to? It's not an accident. It's not magic. It's psychology. And it's deeper than most people realize. In this video, I'm breaking down the truth behind why men come back when you pull away. Not the fluffy stuff, not the same old breakup advice, but the real hidden triggers inside his mind that make your absence hard to ignore. The moment you stop chasing, the energy starts to shift. You go from being an option to becoming a mystery. And trust me, but here's the twist. It's not just your silence that makes him come back. It's what that silence says about you. It tells him, not begging, I'm not waiting, I'm growing. And that is what pulls him in, not just emotionally, but instinctively. So if you've ever wondered why he left, why he's back, or what the hell he really wants, you're in the right place. By the end of this, you'll see the pattern for what it truly is. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to respond from power, not pain. Because girl, this isn't about getting him back. It's about understanding you never needed to chase him in the first place. Take an initiative for Anna Witch by male and female. There's an initiative the same as ever a Christmas, a gala dicky, a harlot, a riot, a spit, a Mickey, a pony, a prom, aspire him, but within you. Most people think no contact is just about ignoring texts or staying silent to get someone's attention, but in reality, it's far deeper. It's a psychological reset. It interrupts the pattern he got used to, where you are always available, always emotionally open, always there, and suddenly you're not. That absence, it stings, but not in a dramatic, obvious way. It sneaks in slowly. At first, he may feel relieved, free, like he avoided something heavy, but over time, the silence grows louder than your voice ever was. It starts to echo in his mind, challenging the view of you he thought he understood. And when a man can no longer predict your moves, your emotions, or your access, you become unforgettable. No contact isn't about punishing him. It's about reclaiming your emotional space. It forces him to sit with the weight of his own choices. It creates a void. And in that void, he starts to reflect not just on the breakup or the argument, but on how your energy used to make him feel. He begins to romanticize the connection. Memory isn't accurate. It's emotional. And without your constant presence tying him down, the emotional highlights, the way you made him feel, admired, understood, wanted, those are the pieces he remembers most strongly. The key is men often don't process emotional loss in real time. While you may be crying on day one, processing and in journaling, he's going out trying to distract himself. But while you heal, he starts the journey later. That's why it often seems like men come back out of the blue weeks or months after no contact starts. It's not a trick. It's because they're finally starting to feel what they didn't allow themselves to feel at first. And the power of no contact isn't just what it does to him, it's what it does to you. It lets you take time to rebuild your self-worth without outside validation. It lets you move from reaction to reflection. It teaches you that your value was never about being chosen. It was about choosing yourself first. And that energy, that's what men feel even from a distance. When you no longer grasp or chase or explain, that detachment becomes magnetic. Men are drawn. Not to desperation, but to the calm confidence of a woman who knows her worth. What he doesn't realize at first is that when you go quiet, the dynamic flips. You're no longer playing the role he expected. You're not showing up in the emotional pattern he got comfortable with. He's left. Wondering, did she move on? Is she happier now? Did she stop caring? Those questions create a storm in his mind, especially if he expected you to wait or fold. And The irony is the more he starts to crave answers, the more he wants closure, the more he starts to feel something he didn't expect. Regret, not just about losing you, but about underestimating you. That's the true power of no contact. It transforms you in his mind from someone he could always reach to someone he may never get back. So while you're in no contact wondering if he's thinking of you, just know silence isn't empty. It's filled. With every day you stay in your power, you're rewriting how he sees you. Not as the girl who waited, but as the woman who walked away with dignity. And that kind of woman, she stays on his mind long after she's gone. When a man starts to miss you, it's not because of the selfies you posted or the way you looked when you walked away. It's because something deeper was triggered, something emotional that sticks long after the physical feeling drops away. Real longing doesn't come from visuals, it comes from feeling. And when you realize the emotional triggers that make him miss you, you realize it's not about being unforgettable. It's about being emotionally irreplaceable. One of the biggest emotional triggers is familiarity teamed up with peace. If when he was around you, he felt seen, heard, intentional even in small ways, that memory stays with him. You might think he never noticed how you understood his M moods or how you softened your voice when he was stressed. But men remember the women who understood them without judgment. That feeling of peace becomes rare the moment he walks away, and it's that contrast, the chaos of the world against the peace he felt with you, that starts to eat at him. Another trigger is admiration, not flattery, not validation, but genuine admiration. If he felt like he was a better and in your presence, like you believed in him or saw something in him he didn't even see in himself, that feeling sticks even if he didn't show it at the time. When a man loses someone who believed in him, it leaves a hole the ego can't fill. He might pretend he's fine, but deep down he misses the way you made him feel more. Then there's emotional contrast. If you brought color to his routine or softness to his hard moments, you created a contrast that's hard to match. He remembers the way you laughed at his simple jokes, the way your presence shifted the feeling in the room, the way even your silence seemed to say something. And when he tries to find that with someone else, it doesn't feel the same, because deep connection isn't something you can just cut and paste. It's rare. And when it's gone, it leaves a feeling he struggles to put into words. There's also the trigger of curiosity, something many women miss. When you stop over-explaining yourself, when you walk away without a scene, you leave space for him to wonder, and men are deeply triggered by curiosity, especially when they can't read your next move. If he was used to you reacting, explaining, trying, then suddenly you go quiet, calm, centered, that change knocks him off balance. At that moment, he starts to miss not just the old you, but the person you were becoming. And finally, there's the greatest emotional trigger of all, presence. Not physical presence, but emotional availability. When a man remembers the moments you stood by him, not just during the good times, but during the tough ones, it hits differently, especially when he realizes he didn't appreciate it fully. That kind of deep feeling isn't something he can find easily once it's gone. So no, it's not about posing to get his attention or trying to make him jealous. It's about understanding that what he misses most isn't what you did for him. It's who you were when you were real, emotionally present, and true. That feeling sticks. Presence in someone's life, you don't just pass through. You leave a mark. And some marks are hard to erase. And when he messages you from out of the blue with a casual, hey, or drops into your DMs after weeks or months, it's easy to wonder why now, what changed? The truth is, when a man reaches back, it's rarely without a cause. It's nearly always something that triggered it. It's not just curiosity, boredom, or loneliness. It's about an emotional shift that surprised him, and often it's something he will never say openly. Sometimes it starts with a small trigger. Maybe he hears a song you both liked. Maybe he walks by a restaurant where you two shared a wonderful meal. Maybe he sees someone who looks a bit like you, and for just a moment, his mind tricks him into thinking it's you. These are tiny moments, but they spark a rush of feeling. This is not ready for it. And When it hits, he doesn't reach for logic, he rushes toward you. Other times, it's silence that speaks more than anything else. When you stop texting, stop watching his stories, stop liking his posts, he feels it. Even if he acts like he doesn't care, that digital silence becomes real distance. And suddenly, the attention he once took for granted disappears. That absence isn't just noticed, it's felt. It disrupts the ego, the ease, the feeling that you'd always be there. And that disruption often pushes him to reach out, not because he knows exactly what he wants, but because he doesn't like how it feels to be forgotten. There's also the delayed regret. Men process emotional loss differently. While you may cry and reflect immediately after the breakup, he might distract himself, throw himself into work or flirt or party. But eventually when the distractions fade and the nights become quieter, he starts to feel it, the space you once filled. And it's not just about missing you. It's about missing who he was when he was with you. The version of him that felt noticed, supported, understood. That kind of feeling doesn't come often. Sometimes he reaches back. Because his rebound didn't work, he tried moving on, thinking the grass was greener, but the connection wasn't the same. The energy didn't flow, the effort felt forced, and it makes him realize that maybe, just maybe, he underestimated what he had. When you don't chase, when you don't beg or check in or ask what went wrong, it challenges his sense of worth. Reaching back becomes less about reconciliation and more about feeling reassured. He wants to know you still care, that you're still affected, that you still think about him. It's not always meant to harm. It's just a form of insecurity trying to ease itself. But here's the thing. Not every message means he's ready for something real. Sometimes he's bored. Sometimes he's feeling alone. Sometimes he just wants to see if the door is still a little bit open. That's why it's so important not to read every "I miss you" as a sign of change. Actions, not words, show true intent. So when he comes back, the most powerful thing you can do is pause. Don't rush to respond. Don't overthink it. Ask yourself, what do you want? What version of you is he even contacting? The person who waited or the person who grew? Because sometimes he's not reconnecting because he's changed. He's reconnecting because you have. And that change, and that's what he didn't see coming. When he enters your life again, it's tempting to believe the timing is perfect, that maybe this time it might be different. But before you let him back in, you need to ask yourself this. Is he serious? Or just feeling alone? Because there's a huge difference between someone who wants to grow with you and someone who's simply trying to fill a temporary hole. Loneliness is noisy. It talks in the midnight when nobody else is there. It makes him remember your face, your laugh, how you made him feel valued. But here's the confusing part. Loneliness can sometimes masquerade as love when it's dressed in nostalgia. He might say all the right things. He might tell you he missed you, that he's been thinking about you, that he still cares. Maybe that's true, but care and commitment are not the same. Comfort is what loneliness wants. Commitment is what true love brings. You'll know it's just loneliness if his messages come in late at night or when boredom finds him. If he avoids deep conversations about the past, about what went wrong or what's different now, that's a big hint. When a man is serious, he wants to talk honestly about hard things. He wants to grow. He wants to meet you where you are, not pull you back into something comfortable but not healthy. Loneliness doesn't want to be alone. Love wants to connect and grow together. Pay close attention to effort, not just promises. Effort. Is he making time for you during the day when life is busy, not just when it's convenient or late at night? Is he asking about your world, your healing, your goals, or is he just looking for temporary happiness without true promises? A man who is serious shows up differently. He listens more. He plans. He's present, not perfect, but consistent. Loneliness comes and goes, but true intention sticks around not just when emotions are high, but when real life happens. Sometimes loneliness brings him back to you because you feel comfortable and warm. Your soul feels like home, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to become the person you need him to be. And here's the tough truth. Just because he misses you doesn't mean he values you enough to stay. He may miss the feeling without putting in the effort. It's easy to miss someone when it's quiet. It's much harder to stay and do the hard things. So what should you do? You observe. You stay grounded in your worth. You ask yourself, does this person see me or just need me? You don't rush the answer. Time always shows what intentions are hidden. Let his consistency speak. Let his effort prove it. Don't let loneliness, his or yours, wrap you into a pattern you already broke. Because girl, you deserve more than to be someone's fallback. You deserve to be a first choice, not a last resort. You are worth more than someone's convenient option. So when he calls, when he messages, when he says all the things you hope to hear, pause. Take a deep breath and listen with your heart and your mind. If he's serious, it will show. If not, your silence will say everything you need it to. And remember, you are not a backup plan. You are the improvement. He wasn't ready for the first time. Let him show you if he's ready now. And if not, let him miss the woman who chose herself first. When he comes back after the silence, the space, the hurt, it can bring up many emotions. A part of you might want to rush into his arms. Another part might want to block him. But here's the key. A woman who values herself doesn't rush into either. She lets his actions speak first. She knows her worth isn't tied to his return. And she lets this moment show what comes next. A high merit woman isn't afraid of his return. She's not bitter, but she's not blinded by hope. She lets him show through his choices if it's worth trying again. Anyone can say, I miss you, but it's actions, not words, that matter. A man with pure intentions will back it up with effort, clear communication, and maturity. She waits for clarity, not confusion. When he shows up, she isn't trying to prove herself. She isn't explaining all the tears, all the doubts, all the struggles. She lets her peace do the talking. She lets her confidence show. That peace, that confidence is a powerful feeling. It signals a deep change. He left someone who may have begged or explained, but now she's someone who stands firm in herself. That change alone makes him realize what he walked away from. That's the power of growing in your worth. Hailing his return gracefully doesn't mean letting him back in without conditions. It means asking hard questions. Is this for something real or just a temporary feeling? Is he back to give or to take a high mood? Woman protects her peace. She doesn't let just anyone back into her world. She sets boundaries not to be mean, but to